Hello, welcome to another edition of Be the Change at the S&P Work Lab. I'm Tashira Singleton, and today we have a special guest, Miss Cherise Thomas, who is also the newest addition to Singleton and Partners. How are you today?
Not bad, Tashira. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming and
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
taking the time to do this today. So we can fall right into our first question.
Sure.
So, what are your thoughts of the injustice going on in our country right now?
Okay, so to say the least, it's very unsettling. Obviously, there's this disparity that exists between black and white people in our country, not just in our country, but actually on a worldwide platform. So, I mean, it's just really unsettling.
Okay. And what do you think needs to be done to change what's going on right now?
I would say there needs to be an increase of dialogue, especially in the things that we're not comfortable talking about. We need to hold ourselves, along with those we vote into office, accountable for to just being more diverse and more aware of other cultures, including Black cultures.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, what are you doing in your daily life to make change or to impact change in your community, your personal life, work?
Personally, I'm a writer, so where I try to promote change is through my literary work. I actually wrote a poem or diatribe per se that I'll share with you.
Okay, please do.
Okay. And it reads, I've always wanted people to judge me based on my capabilities and my personality, not the skin I wear, the politics I hold, or even the God I believe in. However, despite my hope of dual impartiality, the world in which we live is one full of unconscious affinities, deliberate ignorance, and implicit bias. People hate without knowing someone's character. People elect to view someone based on the stigmas or stereotypes in which they were indoctrinated. This being said, we must engage in discourse which makes us uncomfortable. Yes, the time has come to talk about what makes us uneasy. We can't just press mute. We cannot ignore it. Something must be done, as silence is also a stance. Silence is choosing to ignore and perpetuate and comply with the dysfunctional, delusional, and inconsistent precepts that exist in our American society. So this isn't a new concept. It's one that appeared before 2021, before 2020, way before adapting to our lives living in a pandemic. It traces back to 2012, 1993, 1963, 1865, and even before 1619. It's deeply ingrained in the roots of our American heritage and history. It's rooted in the discipline of Willie Lynch, continued by Plessy versus Ferguson point of views, linked to the deliberate act of mass incarceration for people of color, white flight, gentrification, and the Proud Boys, who sometimes dress in denim jeans and sports jerseys with their American flag masks as they cheer for Black athletes while they perform their respective sports. It lives in the notion that treating someone different from you is terribly is okay. It breathes in the misconception that color constitutes to danger. It's very sentient. It exists through words that say, if they weren't guilty, they wouldn't. If they were just asking for it, it just wasn't his or her day. Now, I do not point this out to say that people are incapable of change or even to suggest that there aren't people who challenge our American norm. This is merely to point out that the need for consistency in the country in which we live and work, consistency and equality for everyone, including those of color. I can remember how my hand sat over my heart every morning from grade school through high school as I, along with my peers, swore our undying devotion to the country in which we were born. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Liberty and justice for all. For all, despite race or religion, justice for all. The idea seemed unfathomable, a wonderful state of being that looked beyond what should not separate. As many children raised in America would be, I latched onto the idea of the American dream, planned which college I would go to, what age I would marry, and eventually what I would do as a successful business professional. As a youth, I assumed that the statement I voiced daily, as I did with my prayers, wasn't conditional. Unfortunately, at the age of 27 and some, the oath, the allegiance I pledged, one appearing so sacred, so special, is not for all, even in 2021. It was, has been, and continues to be one that remains true for a selected few. The democracy, a society with equal rights for all, that our country continues to dote is merely an oligarchy or as of late, a dictatorship. The society in which we live in is splattered jaundice. America, we mourn, we bleed blue, rouge, and blanc. We are the same, yet we're not. We, as you, are linked by birth to the old red, white, and blue. America was created as a symbol of freedom, yet it undeniably fails to consistently protect the rights of even project this freedom to its citizens, the African American men, women, and children. Here we remain separated by hues of ebony, ivory, Jean A. Rose. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Very relevant to what's going on right now. Welcome to the team, and thank you again for doing this interview with us. Thank you guys for tuning in, and remember, you too can be the change.